Let's go. Fire away.
Coach, I'm going up.
Oh, sorry. Not to tell you, I will give you an injury report.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we lost Vincent Taylor, ruptured his Achilles. So we haven't made a transaction yet, but we will at some point. Sorry, D-Led.
Any idea when he's going to have surgery?
I do not know.
How intense do you look at the end of practice? Because Coach Lever said that shows toughness. You had 11-11, good 2-minute drills here today at the end.
It's easy. It's like, that's what I say. We're going to find out a lot about our guys and our team this week. It's easy to have energy the first couple days. You know, this is kind of the last of that. There's really 2 ramp-up periods. That's what I was getting at, D-Led, yesterday. You know, we're trying to do what's best for the players, and there's studies that show as you ramp them up, right? You have the first ramp up last week, and then the first 2 days of pads as you're pushing the volume you're asking these guys to go through, and as you're adding reps. But it's a good test, and certainly at the end of practice, that's what you want to see. It's easy to have energy and juice, whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of practice, but these games come down to the end of the game, the fourth quarter in the NFL.
When a D tackle now, what does that do?
We got a lot of guys in there. We got 10 guys right now in camp. We were heavy at D tackle. We had 11. Now we're at 10. Those guys are competing. You know, we'll wait till I watch the practice film, but some of those guys are starting to flash. We'll see if they can stack days.
Any sense of when that happened?
It's a non-contact play. It had nothing to do with, you know, we've had, you know, we continue. I mean, the guys are going to have something, right? But we're pretty healthy. You know, Brian had a thing. He was back out there today, and that was a non-contact injury on Vince Taylor.
Yeah, the only reason I think we didn't see it, I think, during practice yesterday. That's why I was just wondering if it happened.
You got to watch a little bit better. It happened.
Now, apparently,
I mean, you guys, the heat's getting to you. Don't let the grind. I tell players, don't let the grind wear you down. The grind, the heat made me wear it all down. It was right in plain sight. Yeah, it happened in the first team period.
What do you see out of Lorenzo Carter this year so far? What do you expect hope for him throughout the year?
Yeah. Well, you know, Zoe's the old guy in that room, and he's not that old. Him and Ade and those guys are working, and I think Zoe can bring a lot as that outside linebacker and a rusher. He's got a lot of length. I really like his work habits. Been very pleased with Zoe so far.
When it comes to ultimately making a decision between Drew Dalman and Matt Hennessy, whenever that happens, what do you need to see from them to solidify that decision?
Yeah. Obviously, the physical stuff you need to see inside, but a lot of it is command. You know, the really great centers, and we put Todd McClure in the Ring of Honor, and knowing from everything I heard about Todd McClure, and you could go back and argue when Matt would tell you this, when he was a young player, having that veteran center, the guy had command, that helps. I mean, they run the show out there. You need right down the middle of your offense, your center and your quarterback. If they got command, you got a good shot. Seen Ben Jones do it. He helped change the culture in Tennessee. Came there a guy that could anchor the middle, and we're looking for somebody who's got that kind of command. Obviously, Alex Mack did it here, did it at a high level. That's such an important position. So command, obviously, minimum drive requirement. Be able to block your guy, but we want to see that presence as well.
This might be a little bit far out when it comes to this question, but because of the unsettledness that you have on the offensive line a little bit, do you maybe play Jake and Chris more in the preseason to get a rhythm?
Okay. So, go on record. You know, you got to make a judgment where your team is at, and where we're at, and what we need to do. We need to continue. These guys need work. You know, the quarterbacks need to feel the pocket. There's a risk every time you go out there, but we're not going to sit here and live in our fears. And Marcus, Dez, they need to feel that pocket. You try to simulate as much as you can, and you have these pressure periods where you want them to feel it, but at the end of the day, they know when they get bumped into, and you're trying to avoid that, but they're not getting tackled. It's a little bit different when it's live and they're live. So our guys need to. And, you know, we'll adjust how many snaps depending on how the camp's going and